Have you ever felt trapped inside a life that doesn't feel like yours? Like no matter what you do, reality keeps reminding you of limitations, of what you don't have, of who you are not. Let me tell you something that might sound shocking. The key to changing your life is to completely ignore your current reality. Yes, you heard that right. The world you see around you right now is not the truth. It's just an echo of what you once believed. And if you can stop giving it all your attention, you can step into the life you truly want. Now I know what you might be thinking. How can I ignore reality? It's in my face every single day. The bills are real. My problems are real. My lack is real. But here's the thing. What you call reality is nothing more than old thoughts, old beliefs, and old assumptions that have solidified into form. It's like a movie playing out from a script you didn't even realize you wrote months or even years ago. The mistake most people make is that they keep watching the same movie over and over, thinking it's unchangeable. But the truth is, you can pick up a new script, and the movie of your life will follow. Ignoring your reality doesn't mean pretending bills don't exist or walking away from responsibilities. It means you stop letting the outer world dictate your inner state. Because the inner world, the thoughts you repeat, the images you hold, the feelings you nurture, that's the real creative power. And here's the paradox. The moment you stop reacting to what is, and start living inwardly in what you want to be, your outer world begins to bend. Let's think about it like this. Imagine planting a seed. When you bury it in the soil, you don't keep digging it up every day saying, "Where's my tree? Why isn't it growing?" No. You trust the process, you water it, and you expect that in time it will break through the ground. But if you kept staring at the empty soil, obsessing about how it looks today, you would lose faith. That's exactly what happens when you obsess over your current reality. You look at what is, instead of living in what will be. The first step is discipline of imagination. Neville Goddard often said, "Dare to believe in the unseen. Dare to ignore the facts of life." That doesn't mean you deny reality. It means you don't give it your power. If you're broke, you don't keep saying, I'm broke. That's feeding the old story. Instead, you ignore that reality and step inside the inner scene of abundance. You close your eyes and see yourself free, provided for, wealthy in spirit and in form. And then you persist, not until you see results, but until it feels natural. Now, here's where most people give up. They say, I tried imagining. I tried affirmations. But nothing changed. And the reason is simple. They're still reacting to the old world. They look around, see nothing happening, and they let doubt creep in. But let me ask you, if a farmer plants seeds and after 3 days sees nothing sprouting, does he quit? Of course not. He trusts the process. The unseen roots are forming before the visible growth appears. Life works the same way. Your imagination is planting unseen roots, and if you keep watering them by ignoring your present circumstances and focusing on the wish fulfilled, the outer change becomes inevitable. Think about your own life right now. What area feels stuck? Is it relationships, money, health, or purpose? Whatever it is, I want you to test this. For the next 7 days, I want you to practice ignoring what you see. If your bank account says 0, you refuse to give it emotional power. You may acknowledge it, but you no longer bow down to it. Instead, you dwell in the inner scene of already having more than enough. When the fear comes, and it will, you remind yourself, this is old. This is just a shadow of yesterday's thoughts. My new story is already unfolding. Now here's something powerful to remember. Reality has a time lag. What you're experiencing today is not a reflection of who you are right now, it's a reflection of who you were. Which means you don't have to take it seriously. It's literally old news. Imagine reading yesterday's newspaper and treating it like it's breaking news. That's exactly what we do when we let today's circumstances control us. Stop reacting to the old paper. Write today's news in your imagination, and tomorrow's reality will catch up. And this is not just philosophy, it's psychology and science too. Studies in neuroscience have shown that the brain doesn't fully distinguish between what is vividly imagined and what is physically experienced. Athletes rehearse winning in their mind and their body responds as though it happened. Patients who imagine healing accelerate recovery. Your inner world literally instructs your nervous system on what to expect. So when Neville said, "Ignore the facts," he wasn't asking you to live in delusion, he was asking you to train your mind to see the unseen as more real than the seen. But here's the catch: you have to persist long enough for it to take root. Most people fail not because manifestation doesn't work, but because they quit too soon. They let the old world bully them back into the same old state. So let me challenge you, for the next 30 days, pick one desire and refuse to let your senses control you. Live as though it's already done. If doubt shows up, don't fight it, just return to your inner movie. Remind yourself, my imagination creates reality. What I see now is only temporary. At first, it feels hard. The world is loud, your senses scream. Look! Nothing has changed. But the more you practice, the stronger you get. It's like building a muscle. And once you experience your first real shift, when reality bends and delivers exactly what you dared to imagine, you will never doubt this again. You will understand why ignoring your reality is not madness, but mastery. The old version of you is tied to the past, tied to mistakes, tied to fears. But when you deliberately shift your attention to the new reality in imagination, you are choosing to identify with the future self. You are literally stepping into a new state of being, and states are everything. Your reality is nothing more than the state you are most loyal to. Think of it this way: right now, you are tuned into a certain radio station. That station is playing songs you may not even like, but if you keep the dial where it is, you'll keep hearing the same music. Now you could complain about the songs, get upset about the playlist, or even argue with the radio, but the truth is, you only need to turn the dial. That's what ignoring reality really means. Stop complaining about the current station and turn the dial of your imagination to the one you actually want. And the beautiful thing is, you don't need evidence before you tune in. You don't need permission from anyone. You don't need the world to agree with you. All you need is the courage to persist in the unseen until it becomes seen. So let me ask you this: what station are you currently tuned into? Is it the station of lack, where the same sad story repeats over and over? Or is it the station of abundance, where life feels like opportunity after opportunity? You choose. No one else. And the way you choose is by what you dwell on in imagination. Now let me give you a practical exercise. Tonight, before bed, when your mind is relaxed and your body is drowsy, close your eyes and imagine one simple scene that implies your desire is already fulfilled. For example, if it's money, imagine a friend congratulating you on your success. If it's love, imagine holding hands with the one you love. If it's health, imagine walking freely, smiling, feeling strong. Keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate it. The key is not to force, it's to feel. Fall asleep in that state. And here's the rule: when you wake up the next morning and your current reality tries to convince you nothing has changed, you ignore it. You go back to that inner scene and you live there. That's persistence. That's how you win. And the longer you live in that inner world, the faster the outer world must adjust. Because life has no choice but to reflect your inner state. The law is exact. But it requires patience. It requires faith. And most of all, it requires ignoring the evidence of your senses when they don't align with your vision. Here's a story to illustrate. A man once said he wanted to manifest a better job. Every day he would visualize himself in an office he loved, with people who respected him, and a paycheck that was more than enough. At first, nothing happened. Weeks passed, and his current job grew even harder. But instead of reacting, he reminded himself, "This is the old story dying." He refused to give power to appearances. Then, one day, out of nowhere, a friend called him with a job opening in a company he never considered. He applied, got the position, and when he walked into the new office, it looked almost exactly like what he had imagined. What made the difference? He ignored the old reality long enough for the new one to appear. Your life works the same way. The old story must crumble before the new one rises. So when things seem to get worse after you begin imagining, don't panic. That's actually confirmation that the shift is underway. The storm comes before the calm. Don't let the storm fool you. Keep your focus inward. And maybe right now you're asking, but what if I fail? What if I imagine and nothing happens? Let me answer that with another question. What if you succeed? What if ignoring reality is the one skill that changes everything for you? You see, doubt is just faith in the wrong direction. You've been imagining failure your whole life, and reality has been faithful to it. Now imagine success, and life will be just as faithful. The world will always try to pull you back with facts. But facts are temporary. Truth is eternal. And the eternal truth is this: imagination creates reality. Ignore the facts, focus on the truth, and watch your life transform. So the next time you feel overwhelmed by circumstances, remember this: reality is not the jailer, it is the servant. Stop bowing to it. Stop letting it intimidate you. Stand tall, walk in your vision, and reality will follow. And if you ever forget this, remind yourself of one simple line: I do not live by appearances. I live by faith in the unseen. The hardest part of ignoring reality is not when things are neutral, it's when things feel painful. When life feels unfair, when the world throws disappointment after disappointment, that's when your senses scream the loudest. But listen carefully, that's also the moment you are closest to a breakthrough. Why? Because the old state is fighting for survival. It doesn't want to die easily. It wants to drag you back into the story you've been telling for years. This is why you must develop the art of non-reaction. When something unwanted happens, instead of spiraling into anger or fear, take a breath and remind yourself, this too is old. It's just the echo of yesterday's thoughts. I don't have to give it power today. The moment you stop reacting, you break the cycle. And once the cycle is broken, the new reality can finally appear. Here's something practical you can try. Whenever you're faced with a negative circumstance, pause for a few seconds and silently say to yourself, this is not my truth. My truth is unfolding now. Then, immediately shift your mind to the scene you've chosen, the one that represents your desired state. Do it again and again. At first, it may feel like a battle, but the more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Eventually, you'll find that you no longer get shaken by outer appearances. You'll know deep down that the unseen is more real than what you see. Let me share another story. There was a woman who wanted to heal her body. Doctors gave her a report that sounded discouraging. Instead of sinking into fear, she chose to ignore that report. She didn't deny it, she acknowledged it, but she refused to let it rule her mind. Every night before sleep, she imagined herself running in a field, healthy, vibrant, free. She persisted in that scene even when her body seemed to disagree. Slowly but surely, her body began to heal. Months later, her doctor was stunned by the progress. What changed? A random phone call, a chance meeting, an unexpected idea, all signs that your inner world is starting to leak into the outer. Pay attention to these signs, but don't cling to them. Stay focused on the end, not the middle. The middle will take care of itself. Let me repeat this: the middle will take care of itself. Stop worrying about the how. Stop arguing with reality about why it hasn't changed yet. That's like planting a seed and yelling at the soil. Your only task is to trust the process and water it daily with imagination. And if you ever feel discouraged, remind yourself of this simple truth: the version of you who already has what you want is not far away. They already exist in imagination. And the bridge between you and them is built every time you ignore the old world and step into the new one. So, here's the challenge I want to leave you with today. For the next 30 days, every time reality presents you with something you don't like, smile and say, "That's the old story." Then immediately shift your attention to the vision of what you do want. Make this your daily practice. If you can do this, even imperfectly, you will see changes that will shock you. Because in the end, life is not about reacting to what you see, it's about creating what you choose. And the power to choose is always in your hands, in your mind, in your imagination. So ignore the noise. Ignore the old. Step into the new. And soon, you'll look back and realize that what once felt impossible is now simply your everyday reality.